Welcome everybody, and welcome to those of you who have just joined today, and thank you very much for staying, for all of those who have been here for the last few days. So we're going to launch today the DARE programme, and DARE Phase 2, and the work that we're doing across TREvolution and the range of different TRE early adopters. But to start that, I'm going to give a brief overview of the overall DARE programme. So we're moving from a situation where previously data used to be given out to researchers to analyse on their own host organisation's infrastructure, to a new world where we're moving to a model of TRE access. And this is where researchers go to a particular data set within a trusted research environment and actually access the data within that. And so we've seen this huge growth in the number of TREs available. Now, these numbers here are from a survey that we ran, but there may well be many, many other TREs that didn't answer the survey. So there's probably quite a few more out there. But I would note that they are still a tiny fraction of the overall compute infrastructures across the UK. So having trusted research environments are really, really helpful for additional security controls on sensitive data. I don't want my data kind of loads and loads of copies of it all over the place. I'd want it to be held securely in a way that is trustworthy. And of course, the general population feel the same as well. So moving to trusted research environments is great for engendering public trust and also for providing these additional controls. But there is still an awful long way to go to actually make these TREs really fit for purpose for all of the types of research that we want to do. So there are some key challenges that we need to overcome. So they're costly and expensive to set up, which obviously means that there's less money for direct research. Data access processes are complicated and take far too long. It can actually take a good couple of years in some instances for complicated projects to get approvals to actually get access within these environments. There's a lack of interoperability. So a researcher may well go to one environment and have to use a completely different tech stack, completely different data structure than they have to do in another data set. And this means that there's a massive learning curve whenever you get data from different environments. And this impacts productivity. And another key aspect is that these environments don't necessarily meet the needs of all types of research. So quite a few of them have been around for quite some time, brilliantly supporting classical statistics, so the sorts of statistics which you would do with Stata or R. But the world has moved on, and there's an awful lot of additional research which needs to be done on things like AI. And if these environments can't support that use case, then we need to really look into that and improve it. There are multiple different trusted research environments out there, but the data is often held in silos. And so it's actually really, really difficult for a project to run when you have one data set in one trusted research environment and another data set in a different research environment. It's actually very difficult to run multi-TRE projects as it currently stands. So these are the key challenges that we are trying to address as part of DARE. So DARE's scope is sensitive data. That's around people, communities, populations. And it's also around linking data from different data domains. So DARE UK is funded at the UKRI level. Although it's delivered through HDR UK and ADR UK, it is a cross-council initiative. And so we're looking at, can you link data from, let's say, health to education data? Can you link social data to environmental data? These are the key challenges that we're really looking to overcome. And so we have a vision for all research and innovation to benefit from seamless, secure use of sensitive data at a pace, efficiency, and scale approaching that of an open data ecosystem that revolutionises research productivity and accelerates research to deliver public good. So you'll notice the word approaching the open data ecosystem there. We're still wanting to put in the appropriate data governance controls. We're still wanting to make sure that data is held securely. But we need to get to a point where it can be an awful lot easier, and these processes are as automated and as streamlined as we can make them. And so we have a mission to put the UK at the front of sensitive data research and innovation by assembling the tools, technologies and standards needed to streamline secure data linkage and use. And so today I'm going to be talking about what we're doing in DARE Phase 2 to really help us towards that mission. So in DARE Phase 1, there was 3 years where we were really looking to do a design and dialogue phase. And this work put down the foundations of understanding the landscape and building prototypes, building the community, in order for us to move to where we are now, which is DARE Phase 2. And obviously, we are hoping that there is going to be a DARE Phase 3. So in DARE Phase 1, we did a range of different landscape reviews. There are many people in this room who were involved in some of the sprint and driver programs, and these were open calls looking at a range of different areas of innovation that is needed to make a transformational difference across this landscape. But they were driver programs and sprint programs. We also looked at recommendations around how these things would change, and we built a community, and that's a lot of special interest groups and also the TRE community out there. So the reason I'm talking about all of these things is that work very much underpins the Phase 2 work. So the sprint and the driver programs really informed what were the really key areas that we needed to work with, and those prototypes that were built during that phase have come forward into this next Phase 2 work. So DARE Phase 2, it started in August this year. So we're looking to enhance TRE capabilities, both with intra-TRE capabilities, so that's taking a capability that just an individual trusted research environment needs to do, and also inter-TRE capabilities. That's things like federation across these different environments. And so the different areas that DARE Phase 1 helped us prioritise for DARE Phase 2 are around federated analytics, support for AI and machine learning training within the environments, standards and interoperability, and also automation of things like output checking. And so these were the key areas. We put out a call for the groups that had been working on the previous Phase 1 driver programs to work together across these different areas to create a program of work that would take us into DARE Phase 2, really taking the things that were done at prototype and maturing them and developing them across the community. And so I'm delighted that the TREvolution programme was independently assessed by a panel and has been taken forward, and we are launching it today. And my colleague Phil Quinlan is going to be talking about that straight after me. So there's a range of different components of the TREvolution programme, and these are all coming together. If you want to know what the rabbit verse is, please do talk to Phil Quinlan. He's responsible for that, and we have to have words. Anyway, so we have the TREvolution programme. Now, that programme is running in parallel to a range of early adopter trusted research environments. So the idea is that TREvolution is building new capabilities, is looking at standards out there which we can adopt. and then working with a range of different trusted research environments from across the UK. So we put out an open call for these different environments to come and apply to work with TREvolution to test out these new capabilities. And we were delighted that actually we got over 3.5 times the number of applications than the funding that was available. And so we were only able to take forward 6 of these programs, and that covers 10 different trusted research environments. And many of those different groups are in the room today, and we're going to be hearing presentations from each of these. So they are all of these ones here, and I'm delighted that we've got consistent, uniform-looking, exciting logos across the piece. So these groups we'll be talking later on. So once this program of working across these different environments is going to be going on for the next couple of years, and then at the last year of DARE, we're hoping to work with researchers who are going to come and test out these new capabilities, providing additional feedback to the solutions to really help drive how functional they are, whether they're fit for purpose, etc., and really help us then scale and productionize these solutions going into DARE phase 3. So we're looking to put out an open call for researchers to come and work with the trusted research environments who've tested and adopted these new capabilities, and with TREvolution to test out things like, can you do an AI project within a particular trusted research environment? Can you use the new capabilities of federation in order to enhance your project to run data across, run analysis across lots of different trusted research environments? So that call will be coming out later on in the course of the program. The other thing that has been absolutely key to the stuff that we've done is community building. And we've worked with a range of different groups out there. We've got 10 different either community groups or special interest groups. Please do sign up and join these different community groups that you're particularly interested in. They will be working with the rest of the DARE program, looking at particular areas. There's some areas of special interest which really overlap. For example, output disclosure control group. So please do come and work with these different areas, as well as excuse me. As well as all of the special interest and community groups, we work across the whole of the infrastructures out there within the community. DARE is very much around how do we make the whole greater than the sum of the parts. There's an awful lot of investments across this space, and we're really wanting to work with as many groups as possible to see if we can actually reduce the complexity of this landscape for researchers and really streamline that researcher journey by working together across the piece. Public engagement is absolutely, public engagement and involvement is absolutely key to all of the different programs within DARE. So every single project that has been funded and that is working here has a component of public involvement. And what we're going to be trying to do as the DARE overall program is bring together those activities across each of these different programs so that there can be a consistency in the way in which we're working with the public and making sure that all of the outputs that we're developing seek their approval and that they trust the work that we're doing in this space. There's going to be another call later on as well in the year, and that's for new innovative projects. So whereas the TREvolution program and the early TRE adopters have been focusing on these 4 areas of federation, AI, standards and interoperability, and output control, there are other areas in this landscape that we really need to address in order to make trusted research environments meet the needs of the research community. And so there's going to be some open calls for new projects to come in, equivalent to the driver or sprint projects that we did in the first phase of DARE. These programs will still have to work within the wider context of all of the other things that we're doing, and they'll be able to utilize things like our communities, our public involvement, and all of the other outputs across the piece. So where we've got to is really quite fantastic. So we actually got the final approval in the award letter from the funders in September this year. And so I really want to thank all of the TREvolution programme and the TRE early adopters for quite how rapidly everybody has set up their programmes. First of all, putting in their applications, then going to panel, then going through and actually setting up and being able to make sure that they are live in March, ready to go and launch all of this programme. It has been really quite a significant undertaking to get all of this going within such a time frame. So thank you very much for doing that. So all of this is great. But the opportunity for what we can do is really significant in this space. So we locked a load of researchers in a room, and we didn't allow them out until they put aside all of the challenges that they have around getting data, and instead thought about just the opportunities. So if they could get the sort of linked data that they needed to, from different sources across the UK, what are the sorts of questions that they could answer that they can't answer today? And they came up with 52 different use cases. And this crossed many different data domains. And I have to say, having been in that room, the difference from the beginning of the room where people were sort of a little bit like, oh, it's so difficult to get linked data, to the end where we just said, put it all aside, there was so much enthusiasm for actually, oh, this would be amazing if we could do all of these things. So we did some economic modelling of just those 52 use cases. And if there were policy changes based on the outputs of some of that research, it came to a staggering £319 billion of benefit. Which is obviously huge. At the moment, we just can't get access to this sort of data. But we have Gavin Starks to thank for this from a presentation last week. They looked at investing in data ecosystems and found that there was a 32% return in economic benefits of being able to do this. And so this sort of infrastructure and these new capabilities that we're looking to do can have an absolutely transformational benefit. And the great thing is that actually the government is very much sort of starting to recognise this. I don't know how many of you are aware of the National Data Library, but this is something that was put in the Labour manifesto of something that they would like to do in order to enable access to data for AI and for data analysis across different data disciplines. Fantastic. This is exactly the sort of stuff that we are in this room are working together to do. So I think there's a brilliant opportunity to collaborate on interoperability standards, to enable AI research on using sensitive data in a way that just isn't possible at the moment, establish a federated UK-wide research data ecosystem, and use this to really help us to enable research supporting the new government missions in this space. So the opportunity is absolutely huge. I'm delighted with all of the different groups that have been funded to really help us get to that position and really transform this landscape. And so thank you very much, everybody. Let's make this happen over the next couple of years. And I'd like to just thank the lovely DARE programme team for all of the amazing work that they have put in getting us to this position. And of course, all of the TREvolution team and all of the TRE early adopters for going to the ends of the earth to get everything all set up, ready for us to launch this programme today. Thank you. So I'm going to open up for some questions if anyone would like to start. Stunned silence. Just overblown by all of the excitement of what we can do in this space. Fab. Well, if there's... Oh, hello.
Thank you, Emily. That was really good to see. I'm here representing Elixir, which the UK is a very important partner in, intergovernmental organisation across Europe for life sciences. And I want to give a big plug and a big thank you to this community for being very important players in a project which a number of people here are members of. It's called EOSCIN Trust, and it's basically bringing together representatives of trusted research environments across Europe, and not just limited to life sciences, but mostly life sciences. And DARE and HDR UK are very important partners in that. I think hopefully it's been interesting and useful also for the members of the UK community to work with some of the other mature communities in Finland and places like this. And I just wanted to sort of record that that's a very valuable role now that HDR is playing. And obviously it's great that it can be a full member of this kind of Horizon Europe funded activity as well. So I guess that wasn't really a question, but to say thank you and acknowledge the role of HDR in
Thank you very, very much, Jonathan. Some of the work that was done in DARE phase 2 in particular around the SATRA specification for what a TRE should be, and also the work on a federated architecture around how different systems can work together. We've been able to take that work that we did previously and bring that onto the table when we've been discussing with these other national infrastructures, and it's been really, really helpful to be able to do that at a European level as well as the UK. So yeah, it's a very important programme.
Just to mention that we've got very limited copies of the scientific use cases workshop report at the stand there, about 6 or 7. So it's fastest fingers, if you want to.
But it's also available from the DARE website if you want to go and get a PDF of it and watch it in your electronic versions.
We've got a question from online from John Sanderson. He says, given the overlong timescales for access mentioned, will projects to look at discovery and or access rationalization approaches be in scope for the innovators call?
Yes, absolutely. Easy answer to that one. Yeah, so those are absolutely the sorts of areas that that are out of scope for the TREvolution program and the early adopters, but exactly the sorts of things that we'd be looking at for other innovations.
Huge thumbs up from John.
Looking forward to your application. Well, if there's no further questions, I shall hand you over to the lovely Phil Quinlan.